Hey loves, Iman here. It's humbling, and I'm here to share how I stopped abandoning myself in relationships and how I started feeling real love. It's part of my journey of restoring my secure attachment. It's about relating and intimacy. So it's talking about love, that kind of love that challenges every one of our coping mechanisms, the kind that shows us where we've left ourselves. If you ever felt like love meant leaving parts of you behind, then this is for you. This was my experience. And as usual, I'm going to share Somatic tool, and you can do this tool on your own, helping transforming, integrating, healing, if you will, regenerating the situation, transforming into an opportunity. So I'm sharing how in my past relationships I abandoned my parts and how I called that adjusting. And I learned this from a former mother-in-law who used to get beaten by her husband regularly. And that's what her son did to me, and as well as my father. So my father would bruise me, and then he would look at the bruises. He would ask to see them, look at them and say, "Oh, I did this because I love you." And the message I had was that if they care for me, I would do anything that pleases them, so I'm worthy of love. And obviously, I didn't have this level of clarity then, and I and my loved ones, my dad, my ex-husband, they were just doing what they could with what they knew. So the point here is not to criticize them. And I'm sharing this because I feel that if you adjust yourself to fit into something less than your greatest potential, this may be a trauma response. And I have a lot of compassion for trauma responses, for you, for myself. And I want to bring in that if anybody's hurting you, it came from a place of hurt. Also, it doesn't need to involve violence to be traumatic. Doesn't have to have been like mine. Maybe you are in a relationship and you feel that you have compromised so much that you don't even know where the line is anymore. That it's another example on how this can play out. I felt that I adjusted my circumstances, my budget, my schedule, my dreams, my holidays, everything to invest in that relationship. But I found myself getting sick very often, feeling depressed, especially when I sat alone, daydreaming of living a different type of relating or daydreaming of a different lover. If that's you and you think that being loved meant being chosen, I thought being loved meant being chosen, and I did everything to become that choice. I dimmed my instincts, I downplayed my needs, I overaccommodated, and all was just to avoid this terrible feeling of being abandoned. And underneath all of this, I was terrified that if I stayed in my truth, fully in my body, I would be too much or I would never be enough. And have you ever felt in this moment where you feel like little by little you're disappearing in the relationship? That's where I was at. And if that's your case, share here in the comments below. Let's create a circle of support. Share what helped you then. So other people maybe passing through it now can read our comments and find hope. My experience is that my relationship from outside seemed great, but inside, I was in that constant state of freeze. It gave me so many flashbacks with my father when I couldn't speak my truth without shaking. With my father, I couldn't even say the word dad, bye. Even when I was alone with my therapist, I I couldn't set a boundary without spiraling into guilt. And I brought that to my relationship. What then was being a bad daughter now became being a bad partner. And I didn't want to do that. So the moment when it was like opening for me was when I was lying next to him, my lover, embraced, and I had the familiar feeling of being so alone. Alone while I'm being touched and embraced. Wow, that really woke me up. I'm like, that loneliness. I don't want love to cost me, myself, never again. And at that point, I decided to start something that seemed radical. I started staying with me every day. I would set a time to stay at least an hour by myself. And that wouldn't be like in meditation or entertainment or distracted. I was actually in my own company, like I'm dating me. And in the good days, I would do like a yoni egg practice or cook my favorite meal, or I'll take myself out for a ride. But on the tough days, I would just sit and place my hand on me and be like, Iman, I won't leave you this time. I won't check out. And that became my practice. And well, that tool, that in itself changed everything for me. And stay with myself was scary. I feared that nobody else's would do this. And that's when I realized it's even more important. And I would say things in moments of desperation of like, I can't do it without me. If everyone hurts me, I won't be part of the problem. I will be my best lover. I will support me in all my parts, including the nasty, petty, dark ones, dark and light. And this practice was such a game changer that I went ahead and I want to study more to understand the principles. And then I decided to bring it to my coaching program, which is called Elemental. And in Elemental, we have a ritual where we do it. We do it about repatterning this inner attachment through micro gestures and self-keeping. We bring this technique with more advanced ways to work about secure attachment, but like not only talk, but practice somatically until it becomes our new baseline. The more I stayed with myself, the more I became magnetic, not just in love, but in life. Confidence. Confidence came from knowing I wouldn't abandon myself. This was the root to secure attachment. I'm here. I am the mountain I can rely on. And if you found yourself disappearing in love or afraid to show up fully because you've been hurt before, please hear this. It doesn't have to stay that way. Join us on Elemental. That is where we can practice this rooted love in body safety, not in performance. And we do this as a collective. And also, I find it very important to stop outsourcing our work. And there's a lot of it as a content to build relationship, to honor our emotional truth. So if you are ready to rewire this relationship blueprint, know you are not alone. You may come and join us, and don't figure it out by yourself. Rely on techniques that have already been proven. And share your comments below here. Let me know what you think about what I'm sharing. And if you want to know more about this deep feeling of loneliness that we don't really understand where it comes from, but it's so intense. And if you want to also have a somatic tool or about heart coherence to help you to go through this loneliness, if you so wish, just check this video here. And yeah, thank you for listening to my story. Let's keep sharing, reshaping, doing the work. I hope